We begin tonight with this. Last month, we introduced you to Fred Woodland, a local World War II veteran and former prisoner of war. He was getting ready for the trip of a lifetime.
Now, he's back from that trip, and KPVI News That Works For You journalist Kate Gardner caught up with him to hear how the trip went.
Always dreaded going to war. I figured you go to war, you'd never come back. And I really didn't expect to survive the ordeal.
96-year-old Fred Woodland of Blackfoot is a World War II veteran. At 19 years old, he enlisted in the military during the war, and he almost didn't survive.
Sacrificed being away from his family, thinking, maybe I won't return, because a lot of people didn't. And that takes a lot of courage, I think. So I think he really is a hero.
Woodland was a gunner on a B-17 bomber. During his 7th mission, Germans shot down his plane. He survived, but became a prisoner of war.
All that time that I was in the POW tent, food was a big item. There wasn't much of it. One thing that we didn't have that we traded for was salt. And you'd be surprised how you miss salt when you don't have any.
After months being imprisoned, the war ended and Woodland was liberated. He and his fellow POWs signed a Nazi flag that flew over the town to celebrate their freedom.
But it was April 29th, 1945.
75 years later, that flag is in the 8th Museum in Georgia. And recently, the Blackfoot community raised money to send Woodland and 4 generations of his family to that museum.
How was your trip to the museum?
Well, I'd have to say fantastic.
When the family entered the room where the flag is kept, they say Woodland almost immediately found his name. And that sight touched all of them.
All those stories became real to me. Seeing the plane, it made it real to me, and seeing the flag, it made it real to me.
The family spent a whole day in the museum and got to see a B-17 up close. Woodland says he's not a hero, but the trip taught his family the opposite.
But to see it and to touch it changes everything about these stories. It makes them very personal, very real. And my grandpa, he is my hero.
And since we can't all be war heroes, I asked Mr. Woodland what we can do just to be good Americans.
Take everything in moderation and keep breathing.
Reporting for KPVI News That Works For You, I'm Kate Garner.
The whole family says that trip was life-changing and helped build a better appreciation for Woodland's service. Woodland wants to thank his community, especially the trip organizer Mike Anderson, for sending his family to the museum.